Hello, children. Good morning. We are doing today State Board 9 Standard lecture number 2 on parallel lines. Okay. Now, what we had learned in my earlier lecture, what I taught you in my earlier lecture was I just said coplanar lines. Any two lines which lie in the same plane, we call them as coplanar lines. Okay. And in these coplanar lines, whenever is cut by a transversal. Got it? Whenever coplanar lines are cut by a transversal, like this red color line is a transversal. Then what happens? Two pairs of alternate angles are formed. Like if we ask me, this angle 1 and angle 2 are alternate angles. Likewise, angle 3 and angle 4 are alternate angles. 1 and 2 are alternate angles. 3 and 4 are alternate angles. मतलब जब भी एक ट्रांसवर्सल टू कोप्लेनर लाइंस को इंटरसेक्ट करेगा, दो जोड़ी ऑल्टरनेट एंगल्स का बनता है, एक एंगल 1 एंड एंगल 2 और दूसरा एंगल 3 एंड एंगल 4. I hope people have got me here. In the same way, children, when a transversal intersects two coplanar lines, again I'm drawing two coplanar lines, okay? I'm drawing two coplanar lines, okay? This coplanar lines, place here. Whenever a transversal intersects two coplanar lines matlab lines lying in the same plane, okay? Transversal intersects two coplanar lines. Four pairs of corresponding angles are formed. Now, what are these corresponding angles? Please try to understand, okay? What are these corresponding angles? जैसे ये angle 1 है, just look at the right hand side of the transversal. If this is angle 1, the angle below it you leave it, angle 2. These two are corresponding angles, angle 1 and angle 2. They are corresponding angles. I'm talking about corresponding angles here, okay? We are learning, I'm just revising these things because these things are needed for the next lecture, okay? Angle 1 and angle 2. In the same way, when you look at angle 3, okay, this angle 3, look at the same right hand side, can you see this angle 3? And this angle 4, they are corresponding angles. Angle 3 and angle 4 are corresponding angles. In the same way, children, suppose I call this as angle phi, children. I call this as angle phi. This is my angle phi, okay? This is my angle phi. This is my angle 6. So angle phi and angle 6 are corresponding angles. In the same way, children, look at this angle 7, okay? Look at this angle 8. Angle 7 and angle 8 are corresponding angles. So remember, children, whenever a transversal intersects two coplanar lines, four pairs of corresponding angles are formed, okay? Here we were talking about, I'm so sorry, children, once again, here also I'll write it down. In the first figure, we talked about alternate angles, okay? When a transversal intersects two coplanar lines, remember, children, two pairs of alternate angles are formed. We only talk about interior alternate angles. I'm not interested in exterior alternate angles, angle 1 and angle 2. The interior alternate angles, angle 3 and angle 4. Got it, children? So when a transversal intersects two parallel coplanar lines, two pairs of alternate angles are formed. When a transversal intersects two coplanar lines, four pairs of corresponding angles are formed. In the same way, children, if a transversal intersects two coplanar lines, can you see these are coplanar lines? If a transversal intersects two coplanar lines, again, two pairs of interior angles are formed. Can you see this? 1 and 2 are interior angles. Interior angles. These interior angles are also called as co-interior angles, okay? So remember, children, how much 1 and 2 are interior angles? In the same way, this angle 3 and angle 4 are interior angles, okay? So when a transversal intersects two coplanar lines, two pairs of alternate angles are formed, four pairs of corresponding angles are formed, two pairs of interior angles are formed, okay? This is what you should know. Now we start with our new topic, okay, in the second lecture. Okay, remember this, children. Now I'm going to define for you what you mean by parallel lines. Please have a look here. Again, these are two coplanar lines, okay? But this one line, this is one coplanar line, okay? The arrow tells you it goes on increasing. This is the other coplanar lines, okay? Now let these lines intersect to any amount. These lines intersect to any amount. They'll never intersect. They will let these lines extend to any amount. Extend to any amount. They'll never intersect. such a pair of lines, we call them as parallel lines. So what is this? When two lines lying in the same plane do not intersect each other, then they are called parallel lines. Or in short, coplanar. They are lying in the same plane, non-intersecting lines. Non-intersecting lines. Non-intersecting lines means let them extend to any amount, they'll never intersect, okay? Are called parallel lines. Are called parallel lines. Are called parallel lines. Are you getting me, children? Whereas, please have a look here. Whereas, what can you say about this lines? Okay, this one line, I'm drawing it here, children. Okay, you can see it here. And the another line, I'll draw it just below it for a minute, in a minute. Okay, just look at these two lines, children. Yeah, this line. Okay, these two lines, when you look at it, children, let them extend, okay? When you extend, don't you agree both the lines will intersect somewhere here, children, they'll intersect somewhere here, both the lines will intersect somewhere here. So such a line, they are called coplanar lines, but they are called intersecting lines. What are they? Intersecting lines. Intersecting lines. That means coplanar lines, क्या हो सकते हैं बेटा? Parallel lines हो सकते हैं, intersecting lines होते हैं. लेकिन जब एक ट्रांसवर्सल कोप्लेनर लाइंस को इंटरसेक्ट करता है, मतलब पैरेलल लाइंस को इंटरसेक्ट करता है या इंटरसेक्टिंग लाइंस को इंटरसेक्ट करता है, ओके? जब एक ट्रांसवर्सल इंटरसेक्ट्स पैरेलल लाइंस और intersecting lines, remember children, or two pair of altered angles are formed, four pairs of corresponding angles are formed, and two pairs of interior angles are formed. You should know this. Are you getting me? Whether parallel line हो या intersecting line हो. But if they're cut by a transversal, उसमें alternate angles भी बनते हैं, दो जोड़ी alternate angles का बनता है, चार जोड़ी corresponding angles का बनता है, और दो जोड़ी interior angles. Are you getting me, children? Now, I am coming to a very important thing. But try to understand the name of one theorem I'm going to write here. The very first theorem you're going to learn, remember this, interior angles theorem. What it is called? Interior angles theorem. Now look here, children. This is something very, very, very important, okay? Not the proof of it, the statement. Listen, if, okay, if two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, if two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal. If two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, okay? If two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, then the alternate angles, then the interior angles, we are talking about interior angles, then the interior angles formed are supplementary. Interior angles formed are supplementary. So remember this, children. Please have a look at very, very, very important. I call it as fundamental theorem. This is basic theorem, which I'm teaching you as the first theorem. So I also call it as fundamental. अपने बीच बाकी टीचर लोग को मालूम नहीं बोलेंगे क्या नहीं, लेकिन मैं बोलूंगा इसको फंडामेंटल थ्योरम. मतलब ये जो थ्योरम है, पहला थ्योरम जो आपके दिमाग में आनी चाहिए, करेक्ट? Whenever you see two lines are parallel, what I have written in green, whenever you see two lines are parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, whenever you see parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, so immediately it should come to your mind, okay? 1 minute, children. Whenever two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, what should come to your mind is this, what I'm underlining, okay? Two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal. Immediately, This what I have written in red should come to your mind. Triangles are supplementary. मतलब क्या है? अभी से आपने जब भी दो लाइंस को पैरेलल दिखा, जैसे ये एक लाइन, ये तो एक लाइन, ओके, ये दोनों लाइन पैरेलल है, दोनों लाइन पैरेलल है, दोनों लाइन पैरेलल है, ओके, और इनका एक ट्रांसवर्सल है, इनका एक ट्रांसवर्सल है, गेटिंग मी? तो इमीडिएटली रिमेंबर, ये एंगल को ए समझो, ये एंगल को बी पकड़ो, ये ए और बी क्या है बेटा? इंटीरियर एंगल्स है, गॉट इट? तो अगर आपने लाइन एल पैरेलल लाइन एम ये देखा, तो इमीडिएटली आपके दिमाग में आनी चाहिए, अरे देयरफॉर एंगल ए प्लस एंगल बी इक्वल 180 डिग्री, और रीजन by interior angles theorem, by interior angles theorem, by interior angles theorem. Got it? देखो, if two parallel lines are intersected by an antecedent, मतलब आपको दिखता है दो parallel lines are intersected by a transversal. So immediately this what written in red should come to your mind. What is that? The interior angles form the supplementary. That is angle A plus angle B equal 180 degrees. Are you getting me? It should come to your mind. Got it? The moment you see parallel lines, interior angles are supplementary. The moment you see parallel lines, it should come to your mind. Interior angles are supplementary. पहला चीज, it should come to your mind. Interior angles are supplementary. Supplementary मतलब दोनों को add करके 180 होता है. So remember, children, the moment you see parallel lines, interior angles are supplementary. So this is a fundamental theorem. The first theorem I taught you. The first theorem I taught you. Interior angles theorem. आप भूल नहीं सकते हो. पैरेलल चैप्टर का फर्स्ट थ्योरम है इंटीरियर एंगल्स थ्योरम. इसका नाम, इसको हम लोग बोलेंगे फंडामेंटल थ्योरम. क्यों? बिकॉज इसको मैं प्रूफ नहीं सिखा रहा हूं, मैं खाली आपको बता रहा हूं कि अगर आपसे पैरेलल लाइंस दिखा तो आपके दिमाग में आने ही चाहिए इंटीरियर एंगल्स आर सप्लीमेंट्री. whenever lines are parallel, interior angles are supplementary. So आप लिखेंगे इसे, देखो पहला line L parallel line है, so immediately I put an arrow, down arrow, immediately it should come to your mind. Array interior angles are supplementary. Angle A plus angle B equal 180. I hope everybody has understood it. People will keep remembering it. Okay. Now I go to the next one. Please have a look here. It's called alternate angles theorem. The next one is alternate angles theorem. Alternate angles theorem. Alternate angles theorem. Remember, children, some school teachers can, and this, we are going to prove it also, okay? This is not a fundamental theorem. Alternate angle theorem says that the alternate angles formed by a transversal of two coplanar parallel lines, the alternate angles formed, the alternate angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines are congruent. Remember, children, this statement is not written in if and then. Are you getting me a form? देखो, if के बाद जो रहता है antecedent, then के बाद जो रहता है consequent. अगर antecedent आपको दिखेगा तो consequent use करना है आपको. That is what the theorem says. तो ये क्वेश्चन में, ये प्रॉब्लम में, ये इसमें स्टेटमेंट में आपको दिख रहा है if है ही नहीं, then है ही नहीं, तो इसमें एंटीसीडेंट कैसे ढूंढेंगे? मतलब क्या रहेगा, ये प्रॉपर्टी यूज करने के लिए क्या रहनी चाहिए? व्हाट शुड बी एग्जिस्टिंग? गॉट इट? जैसे अभी एक क्वेश्चन मैं बोलूंगा, शो दैट यू कैन राइड अ साइकिल, तो आपको ये यूज एक करके दिखाने के लिए, एक्शन करने के लिए क्या एग्जिस्ट होनी चाहिए? साइकिल. शो दैट यू कैन राइड अ मोटरसाइकिल. गॉट इट? तो अगर ये एक्शन करके दिखाना है तो व्हाट शुड बी एग्जिस्टिंग? मोटरसाइकिल. तो ये एक्शन कर सकते हैं. और गेटिंग मी? वैसे ये एक्शन करना है, ऑल्टरनेट एंगल थ्योरम यूज करना है, तो क्या रहने चाहिए? गॉट इट? एंटीसीडेंट. हम लोग इंग्लिश में एंटीसीडेंट बोले. एंटीसीडेंट कैसा मिलेगा इधर? एक्चुअली इफ के बाद जो रहता है एंटीसीडेंट, देन के बाद जो रहता है कॉन्सिक्वेंट. लेकिन ये स्टेटमेंट इफ एंड देन फॉर्म में नहीं है. तो याद रखो बेटा, एक आइडिया जैसा, ये वर्ड कनेक्टिव आर दिख रहा है आपको? आर या ईज, ये प्लूरल में करके आर है, सिंगुलर में रहता तो ईज है. बट इन alternate angles है, इसके लिए plural. Okay, so listen, alternate angles formed by transversal of two parallel lines, मतलब this is the antecedent. Alternate angles formed by transversal of two parallel lines. Alternate angles formed by transversal of two parallel lines. मतलब ये रहने चाहिए. Alternate angles formed by transversal of two parallel lines. मतलब two parallel lines should be there. Two parallel lines should be there, children, and the alternate angles formed by the transversal should be there. These are two parallel lines. Can you see here? And the alternate angles formed by a transversal. This is the alternate transversal. Okay, you can see this is a transversal. These two lines are parallel lines, L and M, and these are the alternate angles. Got it? Can you see it? Line T is a transversal. So alternate angles formed by transversal of two parallel. So whenever you see like this existing line L parallel line M or A, the alternate angles दिख रहा है आपको, तो immediately it should come to your mind. They are congruent, A congruent B. अभी आपको समझा, मतलब लाइन एल अभी से लाइन एल पैरेलल लाइन एम रहेगा और उसका ट्रांसवर्सल दिखेगा, तो आप उसका ऑल्टरनेट एंगल्स कॉन्ग्रुएंट बोल सकते हैं. एंगल ए कॉन्ग्रुएंट एंगल बी बाय ऑल्टरनेट एंगल्स थ्योरम, बाय ऑल्टरनेट एंगल्स थ्योरम. Are you getting me, children? You can use it like this. Are you getting me? When you see lines parallel, you can say alternate angles are congruent. A congruent B. इससे पहले इंटीरियर एंगल्स था, मैंने वो लाइन से पैरेलल, मैंने पहले सीखा इंटीरियर एंगल्स आर सप्लीमेंट्री. अभी ये सेकंड थ्योरम सीखा, मैंने वो लाइन से पैरेलल, ऑल्टरनेट एंगल्स आर इक्वल, ऑल्टरनेट एंगल्स आर इक्वल, ऑल्टरनेट एंगल्स आर कॉन्ग्रुएंट. इट शुड कम टू योर माइंड. आर यू गेटिंग मी? अभी in your school they can always ask you to prove this, children. So in your school exam they can always ask you to prove it. Like your school teachers can ask you like this, children. State and prove. State and prove. Alternate angle theorem. Or I can also say they can ask you like this. Prove that. PT matlab prove that. Prove that the alternate angles formed by transversal of two parallel lines are supplementary. Either ऊपर ऐसा पूछ सकते हैं या नीचे वाले जैसा पूछ सकते, दोनों एक ही है. अगर ऊपर वाला बोलेंगे तो आपको स्टेट ऑल्टरनेट एंगल थ्योरम, मतलब स्टेटमेंट आपको लिखना है पहला, बाद में उसको प्रूव करना है. Got it? या इधर prove that alternate angles formed by transversal of two parallel lines are supplement congruent. हम लोग को स्टेटमेंट तो दिया है, तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे बेटा, पहला चीज, ओके, ये क्वेश्चन ऐसे ही रहेगा. प्लीज हैव अ लुक हियर. I'll just show you, children. This question will come like this. Got it? Prove that. Let's see. Prove that alternate angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines are congruent. Alternate angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines are congruent. Alternate angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines are congruent. We'll just ask you like this, children. Got it? So remember, when a question comes like this, I told you, I call it as a rider. इसको rider form बोलता हूँ. जब भी एक क्वेश्चन राइडर फॉर्म में आएगा, हम लोग को मिनिमम 4 चीज करना है. पहला चीज हमको ड्रॉ करना है, इसका डायग्राम ड्रॉ करना है. गॉट इट? बाद में वो जो डायग्राम ड्रॉ किया ना, उसको पिक्चर टॉक में लिखना है. जो ड्रॉ किया आपको पिक्चर टॉक में लिखना है, द गिवन जैसा. देन यू हैव टू राइट टू प्रूव दैट. ओके, बाद में कंस्ट्रक्शन रहेगा तो कंस्ट्रक्शन, नहीं तो प्रूफ. तो पहला क्या है? फिगर. पहला फिगर, देन गिवन, देन टू प्रूव दैट, देन प्रूव. ये सब करने के बाद ही आपको मार्क्स मिलेगा. तो ये पहला चीज फिगर ड्रॉ करना है, कोई बाय हार्ट नहीं करेगा. देखो फिगर कैसा ड्रॉ करूंगा, तो इधर मैंने बताया एंटीसीडेंट आके आपका फिगर रहने चाहिए. एंटीसीडेंट आर का पहला जो है, दैट इज एंटीसीडेंट. वो फिगर ऑल्टरनेट एंगल्स फॉर्म बाय अ ट्रांसवर्सल ऑफ टू पैरेलल, इसका फिगर alternate angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines. मतलब पहला parallel lines, पहला parallel lines. Can you see a parallel lines? Then alternate angles formed. So naturally transversal should be there because transversal रहेगा तो ही alternate angles बनता है. तो ये line L है, ये line M है, line L, line M and line T. Got it? Alternate angles formed. मतलब A और B alternate angles है. So this is alternate angles formed. A picture के हिसाब से, okay? Now, so what is given? Alternate angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines. That is given. But I'm not going to write like that. But I'm going to write the picture top. मतलब two parallel lines are given. Line L, parallel line M. Okay, what is given? line L parallel line M, and line T is a transversal. Line T is a transversal. And what you want to prove? The alternate angles formed by a transversal of two. Can you see I marked the alternate angles? I want to prove A congruent B. और कुछ ना भी prove करो A congruent B. कैसे prove करेंगे A congruent B? So remember one fundamental theorem. इसका पहला मैंने interior angle theorem सिखाया था, fundamental theorem. What does the interior angle theorem says, children? Whenever lines are parallel, interior angles are supplementary. मतलब ये दोनों लाइन पैरेलल है, मैं वो प्रॉपर्टी यूज कर सकता हूँ, उसको फंडामेंटल थ्योरम बोला हूँ. इंटीरियर एंगल्स आर सप्लीमेंट्री, इसका पहले सिखाया हूं मैं. मतलब जब भी लाइंस पैरेलल रहेगा, I can use a fundamental theorem, that is interior angles are supplementary. लेकिन आप बोलेंगे there is no interior angles here. Yes. So what I will do, I'll introduce it's a B का interior angle C है, so I introduce the C. Can you see here? Got it? I introduce this angle C. So what I say, let prove me. Let C represent the angle forming interior angle with angle B. Got it? Let C represent the angle forming an interior angle with angle B. Now you can see I introduce this, okay? Now I can go ahead. See what I see. I want, just have a look here. This A I want. तो मैंने सिखाया है, ये A को देखो बेटा, A को कोई प्रॉपर्टी में इन्वॉल्व कर दो, आपको A चाहिए ही चाहिए. अरे लीनियर पैर बनता है. एक ही लाइन में दो एंगल रहेगा, उसको क्या बोलते हैं? लीनियर पैर. तो वैसे A and C are linear pair. So angle A plus angle C equal 180 degree. Can I call it as statement number 1? Angles in a linear pair. Okay. अभी A को तो मैंने इन्वॉल्व कर दिया, अभी B को इन्वॉल्व करना. B को कौन सा प्रॉपर्टी में? अरे एक ही अभी लाइन्स आर पैरेलल. When the lines are parallel, line L is parallel to line M. बहुत given information है, given है. So lines are parallel. तो अभी हमने fundamental theorem से क्या था? Whenever lines are parallel, interior angles are supplementary. So आपको B को भी involve करने का था. तो B को therefore angle B plus angle C equal 180 degree. Why? Reason by interior angle theorem. Now we can see, children, A को तो involve किया, B को भी involve कर दिया मैंने. लेकिन I want them in one line. A congruent B मतलब A equal B. So just have a look at the right hand side. What is the right hand side, children? Just have a look at this. This is the right hand side. What is the right hand side? 180 degree. What is the right hand side? 180 degree. Same right hand side. So naturally, when the right hand sides are same, I can always say the left hand sides are equal. So naturally, what I'll do, therefore angle A plus angle C is equal to angle B plus angle C. Reason is from 1 and 2. And now very clearly you can see, children, angle C gets cancelled. Got it? So what you're left with, therefore angle A equal angle B. Therefore angle A congruent angle B. So remember, children, if one pair of alternate angles are congruent, automatically the other pair I'm not written here. Got it? But I got my answer, A congruent B. A very simple theorem that can be asked in your exam. Okay, they can ask you like state and prove alternate angles theorem, or prove that, PT matlab prove that the alternate angles formed by transversal of two parallel lines are congruent. Got it, children? Very important. Now I go to the next theorem again. Got it? We go to the next theorem, very important. Corresponding angles theorems, what it states, children, the corresponding angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines are congruent, okay? Means now onwards, after learning, see, whenever you see two parallel lines, the first theorem I thought it was interior angles theorem, but the interior angles are supplementary. Then the next theorem I thought it was alternate angles theorem. जब भी आप दो parallel lines को देखेंगे cut by transversal, तुरंत आप बोलेंगे alternate angles are congruent. और अब भी सी एक थर्ड थ्योरम मैंने जो सिखा रहा हूं, corresponding angles theorem, corresponding angles theorem, corresponding angles theorem. It says the corresponding angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines, okay? Corresponding angles formed by a transversal of two, this is a symbol for parallel, children. Two parallel lines are congruent. मतलब जब भी आप दो लाइंस को पैरेलल दिखेगा आपको, got it? अगर ये दो लाइंस है, दोनों लाइंस पैरेलल is given. This parallel is given, okay, children? Parallel is given. Two lines are parallel, cut by a transversal, okay? Now look at this. This is angle X, and this is Y. They are corresponding angles. Got it? So the moment you see line L parallel line M, okay, you can immediately say line L parallel line M. You know, four pairs of corresponding angles are formed. There is एक दिखा रहा हूँ, line L parallel line में. Therefore, I can always say angle X congruent angle Y and write the reason as corresponding angles theorem. Corresponding angles theorem. Corresponding angles theorem. Are you getting me, children? So याद रखो बेटा, जब भी तो parallel lines cut करेगा transversal को, तो अभी से corresponding angles भी congruent है. So I have taught you three. Please keep it in mind. I have taught you three theorems for parallel lines. The first theorem was, I called it as a fundamental theorem. When the lines are parallel and cut by transversal, the interior angles formed are supplementary. The second theorem I thought it was alternate angles theorem. What it says, alternate angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines are congruent. Alternate angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines are congruent. And the third theorem, now what I taught you, corresponding angles theorem. Again, it says the alternate angles formed by a transversal of two parallel lines are congruent. Got it? So now, suppose I want to prove this question. This can come like this. State and prove corresponding angles theorem. Yeah, simple ऐसा भी आ सकता है. Prove that the corresponding, or ऐसा भी आ सकता है, prove that the corresponding angles formed by transversal of two parallel lines are congruent. दोनों वे में आ सकता है. अगर स्टेट एंड प्रूव आया तो आपको पहला यही स्टेटमेंट, जो स्टेटमेंट मैंने लिखा नीचे, the corresponding angles formed by transversal of two parallel lines are congruent, you like rewrite and then prove it. Or when the question comes like this, straight away in a rider form, prove that the corresponding angles formed by transversal of two parallel lines are congruent. It can come like this also. So you know what to do, children. I had told you, first thing you should draw a diagram. Now, how to draw a diagram? I taught you, children, whenever you see, got it, R's word in the statement, okay, R, if and then नहीं है, R है इसमें. So R का पहला, corresponding angles formed by transversal of two parallel lines. So what am I going to do? Corresponding angles formed by transversal of two parallel lines. मतलब there should be two parallel lines. So I'm going to draw two parallel lines, one here and one here. I have drawn two parallel lines and they are cut by a transversal. They are cut by a transversal. Matlab, this line L and M are parallel and they are cut by a transversal and the corresponding angles are formed. So which are the corresponding angles here, children? Any one pair. You know, there are totally four pairs. Whichever pair you want, you can take. Agar maine ye liya, angle A, congruent angle B. तो गिवन क्या है बेटा, देखो, ओके, आपको corresponding angles formed by transversal of two parallel, मतलब two parallel lines are given, line L parallel line M, और क्या है, oh, line T is their transversal, and what you want to prove बेटा, R का बाद जो है, you want to prove congruent. क्या congruent? Corresponding angles formed are congruent. मतलब angle A congruent angle B. You want to prove angle A, congruent angle B. Angle A, congruent angle B. We angle A, congruent angle B कैसा prove कर सकता हूँ? Children, I have told you very simple. But एक याद रखो बेटा, आपको एक फंडामेंटल थ्योरम सिखाया था. वेरी फर्स्ट थ्योरम और फंडामेंटल थ्योरम क्या है? Whenever lines are parallel, interangles are supplementary. ये लाइंस पैरेलल है तो इसका इंटरएंगल सप्लीमेंट्री होगा ही. तो इसमें किसका इंटरएंगल इंट्रोड्यूस कर सकते हो? बी का. सो लेट प्लीज हैव अ लुक एट दिस. Let C represent the angle forming. Let C represent. You're introducing this. So we write, let C represent the angle forming interior pair with angle B. Let C represent the angle forming an interior pair with angle B. So remember, children, now, whenever you see interangles, आपको दिमाग में आने ही चाहिए. Fundamental theorem, interangles are supplementary. So don't you agree? Suppose I want A. देखो A, पहला जो है A को इधर लाना है, कुछ प्रॉपर्टी यूज करके प्रूफ में A को लाना है, फंसाना है. Don't you agree? A forms a linear pair. So angle A plus angle A plus angle B is angle A plus angle C. Sorry, children. Angle A plus angle C is equal to 180 degree. सबको समझ में आ रहा है? A को देखो बेटा, A और C क्या बन रहा है? लीनियर पैर. A को किसी भी तरह कोई प्रॉपर्टी में फंसा के इधर लिखना है. कौन सा प्रॉपर्टी? अरे लीनियर पैर दिख रहा है आपको. करेक्ट. So angles in a linear pair. Angles in a linear pair. This I call it as statement number 1. Now look here. अभी A तो मिल गया, अब B को फंसाना है कोई प्रॉपर्टी में. We have learned lines parallel दिया है. When the lines are parallel, we know interangles are supplementary. If I use that property, B फंसेगा. So I'll do that. Line L parallel line N given. Therefore, angle B plus angle C is equal to 180 degree. Can I say statement number 2? Reason by interior angles theorem. By interior angles theorem. Okay, now what happens, children? You can see here, अभी आपको A और B को एक लाइन में लाना है. A is in first statement, B is in second statement. एक लाइन में कैसा ना हो? So look at the right hand side, children. What is right hand side? 180. What is the right hand side? 180. So naturally, when the right hand sides are equal, the left hand sides are equal. I can say therefore A plus C is equal to B plus C. Reasonings from 1 and 2. Now what happens, children? You can see here, C gets cancelled. So what is left? A equal B. So A congruent B. Got it, children? That means I have proved one pair of corresponding angles congruent. And if one pair of corresponding angles are congruent, other pairs are also congruent. So remember, children, in this lecture, I just taught you earlier in the first lecture, I was talking about only coplanar lines. Now, these coplanar lines can be parallel or intersecting. तो ट्रांसवर्सल पैरेलल लाइंस को इंटरसेक्ट करे या इंटरसेक्टिंग लाइंस को इंटरसेक्ट करे. आपका करस्पॉन्ड इंटरएंगल्स बनता है, करस्पॉन्डिंग ऑल्टरनेट एंगल्स बनेगा, करस्पॉन्डिंग एंगल्स बनेगा. Now we are going to learn. We learned some theorems there. The first theorem I taught you was interior angles theorem. I called it as a fundamental theorem क्योंकि ये theorem को यूज करना है. Got it? बार-बार यूज करना है बाकी दो theorem को प्रूव करने में. इसके लिए इसको fundamental theorem बोलते हैं. Got it? Now, what is this interior theorem? If a transversal cuts two parallel lines, then the interangles are supplementary. But whenever you see parallel lines, interangles are supplementary. Got it? Then after that, I taught you alternate angles theorem. Now, इसका proof सीखा है. बहुत easy है बेटा. लेकिन हम लोग even then form में नहीं लिखते. The alternate angles form by a transversal of two parallel lines are congruent. उसका प्रूफ सीखा है. Got it? वैसे बाद में theorem number 3 corresponding angles theorem I taught you. The corresponding angles formed by transversal of two parallel lines are found. उसका भी प्रूफ सीखा. तो अभी से आपको टू पैरेलल लाइंस दिखा और उसमें ट्रांसवर्सल दिख रहा है, तो आपके मन में ये तीनों प्रॉपर्टी आनी चाहिए. Inter angles are supplementary, corresponding angles are alternate angles are congruent, inter angles are congruent, corresponding angles are congruent. लेकिन कौन सा यूज करना है, that depends on the given information in the question. Are you getting me? That also you realize. It's like we'll be learning that. Okay, children, all sums based on parallel lines. All sums where the lines are given parallel. Sums where the lines are given parallel. We'll be learning that and you'll find it easy. You not worry about it. Okay, children? See you. I stopped this lecture today here. My children, have a good day.